Hello students, I am Shala Goel, your psychology teacher. We are doing the chapter of self and personality, and you have already studied that psychologists distinguish between type and trait approaches as well as interactional approach to personality. We have done the trait approach in our previous video. Now, in this video, we will understand about the approaches to the study of personality, that is trait approach. Trait approach focuses on the specific psychological attributes along which individuals tend to differ in consistent and stable ways. For example, one person may be less shy, whereas another may be more. These trait approaches are mainly concerned with the description and the characteristics of the basic components of personality. They are explaining the primary characteristics of the people. These traits are considered to be relatively enduring attribute or quality of an individual, which makes him different from others. Actually, they are the building blocks of personality. Now students, understand that no two people are same, because the traits, their strengths, their combinations are different. Like I have explained, one may be more friendly, one may be less friendly. Both are friendly, but the strength is different. Two people may be shy, but the strength of the shyness may be different. Now, because of this difference in the strength and the combination of various traits, there are individual differences in all the personalities. Traits are relatively stable over time. That means if today I am shy, tomorrow I won't be a very overt person. Tomorrow also I will be shy. The basic characteristics are stable over time. They are generally consistent across time. Now, what is does this means that the traits are consistent across situations? That means if I am shy with my friends, then I am shy with my different relatives also. So situations may be different, but my basic trait will remain same. Many theorists, many psychologists have tried to explain the trait theories. Gordon Allport is considered to be the pioneer of the trait approach. He proposed that individuals possess a number of traits which are dynamic in nature. Now, these traits are building blocks of personality and are the source of individuality, are located somewhere in the nervous system. He grouped all these traits into three parts: cardinal traits, central traits, and secondary traits. According to him, the traits exist but they are invisible. He emphasized on the uniqueness of each individual. So, because he believed that each person has some unique characteristics and some common characteristics. Now, he was the first psychologist to study the personality of the individual. He identified thousands of traits and tried to understand what are the similar plans in the personality and what are different. Now, he proposed that individuals possess a number of traits which are dynamic in nature. They determine the behavior in such a manner that individual approaches different situations with similar plans. Allport argued that the words people use to describe themselves and others provide a basis for understanding human personality. He tried to explain this through his trait theory. Now, according to him, cardinal traits are highly generalized dispositions. They indicate the goal around which a person's entire life seems to resolve. Now, for example, you must have seen Munna Bhai MBBS. Now, in that character, when he had studied about Mahatma Gandhi, he had which traits? Gandhinian traits. He also, Sanjay Dutt also followed non-violence. So we will say Gandhinian personality. If a person is very cruel, what do we say? भाई हिटलर क्यों बन रहा है? Now that kind of a thing is Hitlerism. These are cardinal traits. Such traits often get associated with the name of the person so strongly that they derived such identities like Gandhinian traits or Hitlerian traits that I have explained to you. Second is central traits. Central traits are less pervasive in effect but quite generalized disposition. Now these traits are those traits which we are using in our biodatas or our CVs, and we tell about job recommendations, testimonials. These are the traits we describe. For example, the person is very warm, or the person is very sincere, or he is very diligent. These are common to many people. They are generalized. But secondary traits are least generalized characteristics of a person. Like I like mangoes. Maybe you don't like mangoes. You may like banana. So if I prefer ethnic clothes, that doesn't mean I am orthodox. It just means that my secondary traits are I like ethnic clothes, and you may have different. So the combination of the secondary traits are also different. The combination of cardinal, central, and the secondary traits explain the whole personality of the individual. And if a person is different in any of the traits, he will be different from others. See, Allport acknowledged that there are situations which will affect our behavior. But he said that the way a person reacts to a situation will depend on his trait. Okay, but a person with the different trait may act differently in that same situation. So it is very important that variation in the traits would elicit a different response to the same situation by different people. जो मैंने कहा, मेरे अगर डिफरेंट हैं ट्रेट्स आपसे, तो हम दोनों एक सिचुएशन को किस तरीके से हैंडल करेंगे वो अलग अलग होगा. वही ऑलपोर्ट ने बोला, बिकॉज ऑफ द ट्रेट्स पीपल react to the situations differently. The second theory was given by Raymond Cattell. Raymond Cattell believed that there is a common structure on which people differ from each other. He was the first person who used the method of factor analysis to discover the common structures. What is a factor analysis? Factor analysis is a statistical technique used in behavioral sciences like geography, psychology, sociology. Now, he thought that all the common structures can be determined empirically, and he tried to identify many primary traits, and he found many descriptive adjectives in the language for those traits. What he did is he combined the small features, factors, and made 16 primary or source traits. The source traits are the stable traits, and they are the building blocks of the personality. Besides this, there are a number of surface traits that result out due to the interaction of source traits. Cattell described the source traits in terms of opposing tendencies. he developed a test called 16PF that is used to understand the personality of the people. According to this test, or according to this theory, there are 16 factors, and these are warmth, and they are given the name A, B, C, D, H, and all that. And A means warmth. A person with a high score are warm, outgoing, attentive. With a low score, they are impersonal, distant, cool. This way, he has explained each and every factor. B factor means intelligence, C emotional stability, E dominance, F impulsivity, G conformity, H boldness, I sensitivity, L skepticism, M imagination, N privateness, O insecurity, Q1 openness to change, Q2 self reliance, Q3 perfectionism, Q4 irritability. Now you don't have to learn all these factors, but at least you should know what they are. Next was given by Paul Costa and Robert McRae. This theory is known as five-factor model of personality. The controversy regarding the number of basic personality traits has taken an interesting turn in recent years. And Robert and Paul Costa examined all the possible personality traits, and they gave them five factors. They are also known as ocean theory. Ocean why? O means openness to experience. C is consciousness. E extraversion. A agreeableness, and N is neuroticism. It is also known as big five factor theory. Now, what is openness to experience? Those people who are curious, open to new ideas, interested in the cultural pursuits. They are not rigid, but those who have low score, they like routine and practicality. Conscientiousness. These people who score high on this factor are achievement oriented, hard working, dependable, and self controlled, whereas low scorers are impulsive. Extraversion. Extraversion shows the socially active person, assertive, outgoing, and talkative person, whereas the less scorers are quite reserved and withdrawal. The trait of agreeableness shows that the people are friendly, cooperative, caring, and nurturing, and the low scorers are critical, uncooperative, we can even say hostile. The last factor is neuroticism. Those who are high on this factor are emotionally unstable, they remain unhappy, they are always worried and anxious about certain things. They are irritable and hypertensive. Whereas those who are low scorers on neuroticism are even tempered, calm, and well adjusted people. Because of this well adjustment, they are secure people. We can explain all these things, and this is also known as ocean theory. The next theory was given by H.J. Eisnig. H.J. Eisnig proposed a personality could be reduced into two broad dimensions. They are biologically and genetically based. Now you can see here in this picture, there are two girls on the upper side who are emotionally stable, and the bottom side they are emotionally unstable. Those who are introvert will remain calm and they will be depressed internally. They will be moody, anxious, rigid, and sober, who is unstable as well as introverted. But who is emotionally stable and introverted will be reliable, peaceful, careful, passive. Whereas emotionally stable and extroverted will be sociable, outgoing, responsive, easygoing. And the person who is extroverted well as well as emotionally unstable will not be pessimistic. She will be aggressive. She will be moody but touchy also, restless also. So, but after dividing these two, he understood that there is one more dimension that is required, and he gave the third dimension known as psychoticism. Now, let us understand each trait or each factor carefully. S.J. Eysenck said that each dimension subsumes a number of specific traits. Now, the opposite of neuroticism is emotional stability. It refers to the degree to which people can control over their feelings. At one extreme of the dimension, where a person is highly neurotic, they are moody, anxious, touchy, and they even lose their temper very easily. But on the low side, that is emotionally stable person, is calm, even tempered, and reliable. The second dimension was extraversion versus introversion. It refers to the degree to which people are socially outgoing or socially withdrawn. Extraversion, high on extraversion, means you are socially very outgoing, whereas introversion shows that you are withdrawn. At one extreme are those who are active, gregarious, impulsive, and thrill seeking. The person who is high on extraversion will like to go to mountaineering or have a thrill seeking adventurous sports. But the person who is introversion will not like it. They will be passive, quiet, cautious, and reserved. They will see to the cautiousness every time they will go for anything. Now, the third dimension that was added afterwards was psychoticism versus sociability. A person who scores high on psychoticism dimension tends to be hostile, egocentric, and antisocial. Whereas social person is not hostile. He is very social, very mingling, and likes to mingle with people. He does not have ego issues. He has given Eysenck personality questionnaire, which tests the personality and understand these dimensions of the personality of an individual. I hope students you have understand these traits properly. The trait theories are very important part of the syllabus, and it is very important to understand each and every theory nicely so that we can understand the personality of each and every individual. I hope you will study well and come up with your questions. Thank you.